So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream Sunday, impromptu Sunday. The Amazon, can't find an Amazon, the Amazon gremlin struck. So a couple of weeks ago I bought this BT SKY 216. And the reason they call it 216 is because it holds 216 pencils. And I like the idea because these sleeves, actually come out. They're kind of on a ring binder. So they'll come out. And you can get a colour book. In the same pencil case, if that was flat. So that's the square you can get in, and that's Joanna Basford's Magical Jungle. This fits in quite nicely. And then at the other side there's two pockets. There's a mesh pocket and a zippy. So I have done an unboxing of this. And I wanted another one, but typically I find something and they disappear off the planet. Now I originally made a mistake. This was £22 on Amazon. You can find it on eBay for £29, but I object to paying that extra £7. So I shall have to wait them to come back to £22. But ideally I'm going to have about 3 of these that I can keep. One for the pastel pencils, and then I've got my Harry Potter books that I do pastel, and there'd be the Bennett Kleins and my mushroom book, which is a thinner page, and so I'm restricted to lots and lots of water. But they didn't have one, but I think this was £18, and we have a Now they did have every colour on the planet for this one, but let's see if there's anything with the Whoopsie, so the Amazon gremlin struck again. And this is a bit smaller, and this one is called, it has a nice zippy pocket that you can reuse. That's quite nice. I like to reuse plastic. Very impressed with that. Very impressed with that. Oh, that would be quite good for putting a colour book page in if you didn't want to take a lot of things with you. You could just, and it was raining, you could put. Quite impressed with that. And this one is a UTRO. I just put my so it's a UTRO 180 slot pencil case. Now and it's rose red, and I'm hoping these come out. I don't think they do on this one, but just use the colour book as a guide. So I'm quite impressed with the plastic, I have to say. There wasn't a lot of room, but the other one was padded because it was a lot bigger. So this one looked identical. It feels identical to the other one. Now I've seen one that has, oh goody goody goody, yes! There was a different one like this, and the pockets, the sleeves feel open, but this one, the sleeves come out. Oh look, it has a pocket for your colour page, it has a strap, and it looks identical but just slightly smaller. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. We've got 27 sleeves, but we've only got 3 sleeves. Oh, and on the back. So we've got 27 there. Oh, these are bigger. I remember this one. This is bigger. But the wonderful thing is the sleeves come out. So it actually is identical to my other one, but a smaller size. And actually that probably would be slightly better, because I love the other one, but it's darn heavy when it's full. So this one could be a travel one. But what I wanted to do was to put all my pastel pencils in that one, because it's very rare I take those out. And so you get the strap, and again, it's a metal strap. Oh my goodness, I may have to have another one of these. Wow. So I like the fact that it's got that rubberized thing on so you don't hurt your hands. The clasps are very solid and very straight. They fit perfectly together. So which colour book can we get in here? Let me have a look if it's like an A4. Oh yes, it's like it's an A4 size then, obviously, because there's a gap there. So I need hubby when he comes to... Oh no, I've got a piece of A4 paper. It's a bit just a bit tight. So the Bennett Kleins would go in here. The Harry Potters, they're A4. A4 is 11 and about 11 and a half, 11 and 3/4 by 8 and a bit, I think. So love the fact that I can actually get a colour book in here. I hadn't realised that one. It did say it had a side pocket, but it was the fact that it had these on it. So, oops, I love my art bags and I use them for bigger things. This is for pencils. In fact, I might actually get, because my daughter likes to have them out as well. I like this. They did a lime green one actually, and she likes green. She's one of my daughters is 18 in May, and the other one is 20 in May. What Bungle's doing is having a one. You're not coming back, Bungle. Just a minute. Bear with me when I give the cat the box. Here you go, Bung. There. Every cat likes a cardboard box. There we go. He's just sitting looking at it. Yes, go and investigate that. You can. Thank you. It's a box. Go play in a box. Got a bobbin. I haven't got a bobbin. What have I got you could play with? Let me have a look. See if something that'll roll. I don't think I've got a bobbin. I normally have all sorts of bits. I've only just rearranged my mini studio. This is my mini studio. Yes, he's in the box. Bungle's in the box. It worked. Bungle's in the box. And I can put... So I'm keeping these 4 books here. Oopsie. I just have to put them back because we've been bungled. The kitten wanted to come back. He's going to go to sleep in the box. Right, guys. Just... Oh, so I'm very impressed with that. So I wanted one because I have different watercolour pencils. So I can put my gorgeous Derwents in there. So what I have previously, and I'm not using them, it's just I want to use them for something else. These are the sleeves of the Derwent art bag, and I love them, but I've stretched them, and I've put my Neos are in here, and I want to put my other Neos, my older version, because I love that wooden box, but again I never get it out, so I'm not using things, and I will if they're in my little art bag. So I'm going to put my Neos all together in the Derwent art bag. And the colour comes off a bit, so what I normally do is I tear a little bit of paper, and I just use cheaper printer paper, and I tear it in half. And then when you slide the crayon in, I have one at the other side. I don't think I have a... Oh, I have a crayon. Oh, they're here, look. So it looks like this. so it protects a little bit, but it also makes the colours pop out. So I've got all my Neos on here, and I love this. I really love it. But because I've found some other different water-based crayons as well, I've got some old Neos. I want to put all my yellows on one side, all my reds on another. So I needed some more of these sleeves, and I've pushed 2 crayons in there. And I mean, they're not going anywhere. But of course, you can't then start to put a single pencil in. And I have 1 or 2 other thicker things that I don't want to keep in a pencil case anymore, and I want to kind of use the tray that I have my pencils in, and I want to use that. So I'm going to really get rid of lots of pencils and just keep some bare minimum ones. But my watercolour ones, you can put 2 in. In this one I have 2, and I absolutely love it, not going anywhere. Absolutely love this. But I did like the fact you can get a colour book page. I can just about get the A4 size in the Derwent art bag. I just can't zip the top up. I can get it in, and it sits in quite nicely, and it's just a bit proud. But if I'm going anywhere, I like everything to be completely zipped up. So I just want, and again, I love it. So you can get lots of things in here. And I love the Derwent art bags because you can get more things in pockets. It has 2 ginormous pockets at either side, but I'm using them for a different purpose. But for pencils, I think this one is wonderful because you can get a colour book in it as well. So all my Derwent pencils, and the other thing I've got in there is I've got my Graphitint, and that's my other sleeve with my Neos in. I've also got my Graphitint in my art bag as well, my Derwent art bag, and of course they don't go anywhere either. So I love the fact that I can get that in there, and this one is 180 pencils. And then we have the back, instead of the 2 pockets, they would be, but these are bigger, so that would be probably for an eraser and a pencil sharpener. But I only have one that I use. But you could put the Derwent art guard in there, and your knife, that would fit in that one, your blade. So everything would be away and tight. And always put either a cover or an old eraser on the end of your blade. But these come out, so this is nice. I love the fact that these come out like the bigger version that I have. And I love the fact that you can get a colour book in it as well. That's fantastic. So I will be putting my Derwent pencils into here. And I always put number 72, I always put it in next to my yellows because it's my lightest colour. And I do mine in colour range. Now, all the other Derwent watercolour pencils are 1 to 72. It's just the white, because the white is 72 and number 1 is zinc. So it's the only one I take out. But they are going to look so good in there. And then because I've got this big hole here, I can put all my water brushes I have got some thicker brushes actually as well, but I have a lot of little brushes, so I could keep some for little brushes as well. And the Derwent art bag sits that way. It doesn't sit that way. That's the clips for the Derwent art bag. So again, you could put all the brushes in. I might do that with my paint brushes. And again, that alleviates where my big brown drawers I keep all my art supplies in. They're just full at the moment of pens and pencils, and I can never find anything. So I'm trying to get a bit more organised. So as much as I love this Derwent art bag, I found another purpose for it. And I like the fact that I use the Derwent watercolour pencils not as an artist but as a colourist. So I like the fact that I can just grab one bag. One will have my pastels in and one will have my watercolour brush pencils in, And the other one, I might buy another one because I have the ink 10s. Now I do use ink 10s with the water, so I'll have a think about how I want to get what I want to get in here. But 72 and 72 is 144, so I can get my set of Derwent watercolour pencils in here, and I can get my ink 10s, and I've still got a bit of wiggle room as well. So I thought I measured first how many pencils I had, or I counted first. But I love the fact that if I want to go anywhere, I can ask my husband to pick. I'm going to label them. I'm going to put a little tag on. Now this particular thing here hides behind here, the zippy thing. Does it on everything. But what I've done is I've put a little poppy. I've got quite a few of these. It's a little poppy. Because I think you should think of the war veterans every day of the year, not just one. And all that does, it's quite nice and easy to hold and grab, but it stops the zip going down there. But I wouldn't want anything too bulky and too in your way, and I just thought that was perfect because it's not going to do anything. It's light, it's not going to break off, and yet it just stops that going from right down there. It doesn't go far, but if you've got funny hands, it's a bit of a pest. So this is the B, and they say they're different companies, but this is the B. Do that. You can see when this beastie here is full, it's enormous, and it says it's £4. It is. It's heavy, and this is just a couple of inches smaller here, and just about an inch shorter. So if I put that at the front, there isn't much in it. There's just a tiny bit at this side, about a finger, about an inch, that's it. So, but it is smaller. So this one does 216 pencils, and this one does 180 pencils. That was 18, this is 22, but this is 27 or 29 on eBay. So you can still get it in the US. I think you can still get it, but the UK it's a bit more difficult. So I just thought I'm quite impressed the fact, but they still come out exactly the same. They both have 3 sleeves, and you can get a lovely colour book in there as well, even though it's upside down. So it's quite nice. The other thing I could do is label it, so my husband could pick me the one that says watercolour pencils, or he can pick me up the one that says pastel pencils. And I know that in that bag I've got everything. The bigger one has 2 pockets, and all the pencils come out. So in the back pocket I can put my colour shapers and my blenders for my pencils. But in this one, I suppose I would be able to get, and I think I'm going through a pink stage. So my watercolour brushes would go in here. Yeah, they're going here quite nicely. The watercolour brushes go in there. That is a bit of a smaller one, so I don't think I'd want to force it. I have a little water spritz that I've just taken out. I could put my brushes in here. Yeah, you could put your brushes in, keep them all nice. That would be quite nice, that, and then I could repurpose this. That's the other thing that I want to do. I've fallen in love with my Winsor & Newton watercolour markers. So again, I want to use, because I've had 2 pencils in here, I'm going to put my watercolour markers in here. So again, I can colour with my Derwent Graphics graphic tints ones, and these will fit in the same. So my watercolour markers are going to be in another art bag. So again, that's quite handy, so I can actually give instructions to go back, get a particular bag. So I kind of like that idea. But they look quite nice in there. Especially that I like my watercolour pencils. So they should look quite nice. So you can make things fit all sorts of things. You could have your drawing pencils in that one if you wanted. These are my watercolour little brushes here. The word of warning though, once you've stretched them, they're not going to go back. I think they'll behave themselves quite well if you just use them for pencils and just something that's quite snug like the brushes. I mean, they are bigger anyway, so it means I can get my favourite brushes, and I keep mine in 3s. So let me quickly just do this. I always have a little brush. Again, I've got brushes for pastels. I've got little tiny water brushy things. But I suppose something would fit in there if I wanted to. But the idea is that all your supplies are together. So these are my... Oh, that's nice. These are my Derwent Sable water brushes. And again, I'm just putting one in. And because this isn't going anywhere, the brushes aren't going anywhere either. So, you know, if they're going to fall down, they're going to fall down here. But they will hold a paintbrush just quite nicely. Let me try a thinner one. This is a thinner one. And it's a bit loose, but of course, if it drops to the bottom, it's not going to go anywhere. And you're not going to lose it. So I kind of like that. So I can get all my favourite brushes all together. That would be quite nice because then you really wouldn't be damaged. And you could be, instead of fuffing about looking for a particular paintbrush, you could go straight to it. And again, if you were in the hospital or out and about, the same thing would happen. You know, you can only work with one brush at a time, so you just get one brush out. And then when you wipe it, you put it back and it never gets damaged. So I kind of like that idea. Now these are water brushes, so again these could go in the bigger area here. So you could get your professional water brushes in there as well. And I do like my riggers. So the riggers are protected, and it's always a bit of a worry that, because I'll take these out because I do use these in my little travel bag. I have to say, I use those in my other little watercolour set. So let me have a look. That's another Pro Art one. So we could really get all these lovely yummy brushes in here. And again, this should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So you can get 20 brushes. So 20 brushes is probably ample. Just put mine into sets. That's quite a nice big one. What's that one? So I kind of like the fact that I've got my brushes in some kind of order, because normally my brushes are about. So that would be quite nice. That, and it's a lovely soft top, so they're easy to get in and out, and yet they're going to be really protected of those. You could always put a little bit of foam over the top if you wanted. And the other thing is, it will thin out how many brushes you take with you, because I'm sure I've got far too many. I'm sure I've got far too many. So again, we've got those 3. I collect my brushes in 3s. I have a small, a medium and a large, and I think that's quite nice as a set. Now if you can get a cheaper set, obviously that's fine. And I do like my fine liners. This set I've had quite a while, but it's looking a bit dilapidated now. close. I'm quite impressed with that, actually. I might not put them, you could put them in this side. Let me have a look at these. Yeah. These are a little bit thinner, these, at this side. So I really like that idea that I have my brushes and I have my paint brushes, my pencils at this side. I normally push them downwards and push them downwards because they're just, and they're kind of snug, but they're in there. And the easiest way to do that, so I really like the fact that I could put my pencils there, have my paintbrushes and my colour book. And this is what I was hoping for this slightly smaller one. It's more portable. I don't think I'll carry the other one because I'd be frightened the handle would fall off. So it's perfect for on the sofa in the house, but this is definitely a travel one. To get my 72 ink 10s and my 72 Derwent watercolours and my ink 10s in here, that would be wonderful. So thank you for watching. That's my unboxing of my colour book. Thanks for watching.